Hi, this is Miss Melinda. Welcome to Miss Melinda's Spontaneous Smart Diva Show. How are all of you doing out there? How's my 1,014 subscribers doing tonight? Did you have a good day today? And how's all my viewers and fans and students doing? I love all you guys. I am very grateful for your interest in my show. We have a combination of hot, sexy diva costumes, which adds a lot of fun to the show. And then we have really good classes. And I think you're enjoying staying with this biology class. I know I am. I'm enjoying it. It's easier to understand than the trials and the judicial system. So, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and hit my like button if you will, please. Okay, so I am going to be teaching biology class, of course, and the title, you ready to get the class started? Let's get the class going, and we can actually hang out after class, because as a matter of fact, for those of you who don't know, I told when I first started teaching classes, When I first started teaching classes, I told everybody that sometimes I'm going to tell life stories that I plan to tell you. I'll say, oh, I want to tell my fans this life story. They'll get a kick out of this one, And then other times, if you stay to the end of my show, it ends up turning into some big story. Like the red top, I keep telling everybody, go to the red top with the black embellishments. It's only like 4 videos away from this one, or 5 videos away from this one. Yeah, go there and listen till the end of that red top, because I tell 2 exciting life stories. And it came out spontaneously. I never planned to tell you those 2 stories. It came out spontaneously from whatever else I was talking about. And then all of a sudden, I just thought of when I was talking, whatever I was talking about reminded me, oh yeah, the car and my nephew, that story. Oh my God, I got to tell my fans this story. And then I didn't even think of it. And then it hit me, oh my God, there was another car story with my nephew, with me in the car. And I said, no, I wasn't it's actually, he was driving my dad's stretch van, like I used to drive in the 70s. Anyway, so I had 2, and I told him on the spot, spontaneously, was not planned at all. I just first thought of the one story of the car with my nephew, and then also it made me remember, oh, I was in this car, not his car, my dad's stretch van. That was another car story. I go, oh my God. And so I told both stories spontaneously at the end of my red top with the black embellishments, just a few, like 4 videos from this video, maybe 5 videos from this video, something like that. Yeah. So go to that red top, and if you want to hear a real good life story that came out also spontaneously, go to my silver. I don't want to forget to tell you this. I'm going to pull this sheet of paper out. Okay. So go to my. I gotta talk softer. Go to my, after you get done watching the red shirt, um, till the very end, because that's where the stories are, go to my gray silver sweater. It has a little collar with a bunch of pearls on it. Go in that gray silver sweater with the bunch of pearls on the collar, little collar, and a bunch of pearls. Because spontaneously, I was talking about birds, and all of a sudden, I said, "Oh my God!" I started, and I told the story about the birds and me, yeah, and what happened, and you have to hear it. And if you're old enough to know Alfred Hitchcock's movies, like Psycho, and then the one actually, what's the other one? Psycho, wait, I'm getting mixed up. The Birds. Okay, Alfred Hitchcock wrote a movie, The Birds. Look at it, I watched it a couple of weeks ago, and it got me scared again. Watch The Birds. And so I was talking about birds in that gray silver sweater at the end of the show, and I go, "Oh my God, that reminds me," and I told him the stories. So go to that gray silver sweater with the pearls on the little collar and watch it through till the end, and you'll get a really cool story about birds in real life. Because Alfred Hitchcock's movie called The Birds, it was not based on a true story of any kind, But you will learn something very exciting if you go to that gray silver. Okay, so now, this is not going to be spontaneous. I thought, I've thought of a couple things I want to tell you, life stories. I've emailed them to myself so I don't forget. So I'll try to get to these stories before it gets buried in my Google. Okay, so I have a story, a life story that came to mind, and so I'm going to tell you the story after class. After class, if you'll hang out with me, I have a planned story, and then we'll close the class and we can all go to bed. Or, well, I don't know where you're at. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Okay, so why don't we get started, okay? All right. So, yeah, it's an interesting story at the end of this class. Let's put this back here. Okay, so here we are. Let's get started, okay? All right. So, just don't chop my head off. Okay. I gotta fix my sleeves. There we go. Okay, biology class. I have trouble with this paper. It's got to be a mile away. Okay, the title is okay. The title is Exchanging the Good and the Bad, Capillary. For being the teeniest of blood vessels, capillaries, which bridge the smallest of the arteries and the smallest of the veins, have a rather important role to facilitate the exchange of materials and cells via diffusion. Well, all my old subscribers and old fans and viewers and students have heard this word diffusion many, many times, and we finally learned that it's action, some kind of action. Okay, so exchange of materials between capillaries and cells via diffusion. In other words, to make capillary exchange, quote unquote, possible. I want to read this one more time because when I interrupt, I feel like you lost your concentration. I know I did. All right, so let me read it again real quick. What was I trying to tell you? Diffusion. So we learned it's action. Okay. So for being the teeniest of blood vessels, capillaries, which bridge the smallest of the arteries, and the smallest of the veins, have a rather important role to facilitate the exchange of materials between capillaries and cells via diffusion. In other words, to make capillary exchange possible. Diffusion is action. Okay? Alrighty. Pull my sleeves down. Okay. Yeah, this top is actually bought. Those sleeves are meant to be pushed down off my shoulders. That's why they're like, they look so beautiful, because they were meant to be like that. Yeah. Okay. So, let's see. Okay, next page. Okay. Your capillaries are only thick as one cell. Your capillaries are only thick as one cell. So the contents within them can easily exit by diffusing through the capillaries membranes. Okay? And because the possessive capillaries membranes touch the membranes of other cells. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Are you listening to me, guys? Are you following me? Okay, you with me? Okay. Because the capillaries possessive membranes touch the membranes of other cells all over the body. The capillaries possessive contents can easily continue moving through adjacent cells, membranes, okay? Okay, you with me? Staying with me, guys? Okay, isn't this exciting to learn about our bodies and taking care of our health? Yeah, it really makes you think about tightening up our bad health habits, Yeah. Okay, so, okay, I'm looking to see if I'm right in the mirror. Am I crooked? Actually, go more this way. No, then you can't see my sleeve. Yeah. Okay. So let's push that down. And push that down. See, they go down. Okay. Here we are. We are in the next one. Okay? Okay. Ready? Okay. Here we go. Exchanging the good and the bad. Capillary exchange. Continued. Through capillary exchange, quote unquote, oxygen leaves red blood cells in the bloodstream and enters all the other cells of the body. Capillary exchange, quote unquote, also allows nutrients to diffuse. We know that word now, action. Also allows nutrients to diffuse out of the bloodstream. It means move, diffuse, move out of the bloodstream and into other cells. Okay? All right? The same time, the other cells expel waste products, including carbon dioxide, that then enter the capillaries. This is really fun to learn, isn't it? Yeah, you learn about the inside of your body and how to take care of it. It really makes you think, don't it? Okay, so here's the title. I think it's the same title. Or did it change? I'm not sure. I think it's a different one. Exchanging the good and bad. Capillary exchange. Let me see. Does this say that? No, it's not. It is the same. Okay, so this is continued. Yeah, all this is continued thus far under exchanging the good and bad, colon. Capillary exchange. So that title is, every page I read to you is that same title, thus far. I don't know if it changes, we'll find out. Okay, so after the capillaries pick up, quote unquote, the garbage from other cells, comma, they carry the wastes and carbon dioxide through the deoxygenated blood to the smallest of the veins. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah, this is an interesting class. The venules, venules. Oh wait, I skipped. No, okay, it was this at the end of the sentence. Deoxygenated blood to the smallest of the veins, which are called venules. Okay, so it just told you what the venules are. So just watch this again and again, like 5 or 10 times. I will be watching all my movies. I keep going back to them. So, the venules branch into bigger vessels called veins. That's fascinating. I never knew anything like that, did you? The venules branch into bigger vessels called veins. Okay. And I believe, of course, arteries are your main bloodstream. So I would say your arteries are a lot bigger and wider than your veins and vessels. Yeah. I'll Google it to confirm it, but I'm sure it's common sense. Which then carry the deoxygenated blood toward the main vein, the vena cava. The two branches of the vena cava enter the right atrium, comma, which is where pulmonary circulation begins. We've already been studying pulmonary circulation. So you should be familiar if you've been with me for a while. Okay, so the pressure created when the ventricles contract is what forces blood through the arteries, period. However, comma, this pressure declines as the blood gets farther away from the heart and into the capillaries, period. Blood pressure doesn't force blood through. Blood pressure doesn't force blood through the veins as it does through the arteries. Okay, memorize that. What makes blood travel through the veins are contractions of your skeletal muscles. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Period. As your limbs, limbs, as your limbs, like your arms and legs, as your limbs and trunk move, comma, deoxygenated blood is pushed farther along the venules and veins, comma, eventually returning to the heart, period, without movement. Hold on, I want to fix my lipstick real quick because my foundation, it sometimes like melts it. I even had a fan say, would you wear bright red lipstick? I wear it every day. But it was probably like mixed up with my foundation. Yeah. Okay. There. That looks pretty. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, guys. My girlfriend that had her own YouTube channel, she always was putting makeup on during the show. It was very entertaining. Yeah. Okay. Moving right along. Okay, let's sit up. Alrighty, so we have good posture. Okay. Okay. So, this has got the ending of a sentence. So let me read the sentence from this last page. Okay. Without movement, comma, blood pools in the veins, comma, creating poor circulation. Okay? Creating poor circulation. Okay. Seeing what makes your ticker tick. This is a new title. Seeing what makes your ticker tick. Okay, sounds interesting. Electrical impulses from your heart muscle cause your heart to beat, period. These impulses begin in special areas of tissue within the heart, comma, called nodes, N-O-D-E. Well, I've heard of lymph nodes. We have lymph nodes. I don't know if these nodes have anything to do with lymph nodes. Yeah, I guess it's something I'll have to Google. So it says, these impulses begin in special areas of tissue within the heart, comma, called nodes, N-O-D-E-S, period, that are infused with nerves, comma. The nodes send out signals that stimulate contraction of the heart muscle cells, causing your heart to beat. For particulars on the process, comma, check out the following, okay? So, okay. You guys with me? Are you paying attention? Do you have to wake you up? See, I got all my beautiful turquoise on tonight. My beautiful black nails. They're pretty, aren't they? Seeing the bracelet? Yeah. I got one ring on this one. And the black nails. Very sexy. Okay. So, check out the following. Okay? Number 1. Each beat of your heart is started by an electrical signal from the sinoatrial. So it's think of sin, like you committed a sin, S-I-N, O-A. This is how I taught myself study skills in college. So listen to me, so you won't forget the word. So, each beat of your heart is started by an electrical signal from the sinoatrial. And so how you're going to remember it is you committed a sin, S-I-N, and then just think O-A. So, committed sin, O-A, and you're going to a trial. You're going to study my trial class, T-R-I-A-L. It's spelled just like trial. So this is all one word, and it's sin, like you committed a sin, O-A, trial, like you're in a trial. Sinoatrial. Now we got to start from the beginning so we remember what it is. Number one, each beat of your heart, each beat of your heart is started by an electrical signal from the sinoatrial. And they use SA. You can use an abbreviation SA for sinoatrial. Node. They got the word node. I guess it has to do with node then. In your right atrium. So we got to memorize a lot of this goes to the right, this goes to the left. It's happening in the past 10 classes I've been teaching you. Yeah. So the SA, which is sinoatrial, node. It's a node. Okay. So the SA node is also called your natural pacemaker. Fascinating. Let's remember that. Are you guys listening? Everybody has, I learned this writing these notes today, so I'll just tell you real quick. Everybody has their own natural heart pacemaker. But my uncle had to get a fake one, because it was no good anymore. So the SA node is also called your natural pacemaker. Okay, guys? Your natural pacemaker, because it sets the pace of your heartbeats. Yes, your heart already contains a pacemaker. Did you ever hear that one before? I haven't. Yeah, we all have our own pacemaker for our hearts. We're born with a pacemaker. And I guess when my uncles went bad, they put a fake pacemaker in there and it works fine. Yeah. So yes, your heart already contains a pacemaker. Okay? People who have pacemakers installed through surgery have it done because their natural pacemaker has stopped working correctly. Okay? We're almost done, guys. Have you been listening to me? Because it's very interesting what I'm saying, isn't it? Did you know you had your own natural pacemaker that God created with you? No, I didn't know that. I thought you just needed a pacemaker if you have a bad heart. But no, you already have a natural pacemaker. I didn't know that. Did you? Okay, now you guys with me? Okay, we only have 4 pages left, so please listen and learn, okay? And stay with me. All right, here we go. Okay, seeing what makes your ticker tick. Okay, continue. 2, the signal from the SA node spreads across the left and right atria, causing them to contract and push the blood into the ventricles. So 3, as the electrical impulses passes through the atria, it signals the atrioventricular. Wait, let me say that over. As the electrical impulses passes through the atria, it signals the atrioventricular. You just have to keep saying it over and over. I'm teaching you how to say it right now. You just keep saying it over and over and you can say it. It signals the atrioventricular, node. That's a node also, to take action. Well, they could have used the word diffusion to take action, yeah. So that's real interesting, learning about that we had pacemakers automatically. I don't know if you ever heard of that. Okay, so now the AV, which is the atrioventricular node to take action, period. The AV, which is the atrioventricular node is located in the lower parts of the atrium, okay, period. The signal is temporarily slowed in this node so that your ventricles have time to fill the blood. Okay, we're on page 9. Are you with me? Okay, are you with me, guys? Okay, we only got 3 pages to go. Okay, can you make it through 3 more pages? Okay, let's go. Oh, it's a title, but it's number 4. So there's 5 paragraphs. I'm on the 4th one for teaching the label, seeing what makes your ticker tick continues. So far, this whole class has been under that label, I believe. Let's see, the first page. Oh no, the first page is exchanging the good and bad capillary. Okay, but anyway, we pretty quickly got into whatever I just told you. We pretty quickly got into seeing what makes your ticker tick continue, and that's been most of the class. Yeah. So number 4, under what the ticker makes you tick. Number 4 to that. The signal in the AV node stimulates an area of tissue called the, quote, the bundle of his, unquote. The bundle of his lies between the right and left ventricles and connects with specialized fibers called, and this is a difficult, not real difficult, but I've never heard of it. Specialized fibers called PURK, P-U-R-K, and like you're in the store, I-N-J-E. Purkinje is the only way I can think. You have to Google it and say, can you pronounce this for me? They do it right on the spot. Because I've never seen the word, you probably haven't either. And connects with specialized fibers called Purkinje, P-U-R-K-I-N-J-E. Fibers, they're fibers. Okay, number 5. When the impulse reaches the Purkinje fibers, comma, it causes the ventricles to contract completing the heartbeat. Last page. Oh no, it's not the last. Okay, 10. The sound your heart makes, described as lub-dub. Lub-dub. So they show it 2 times. The sound your heart makes is described as 2 times. Sounds like lub-dub, lub-dub. Lub-dub. Is how the sound of your heart sounds when it's beating, is attributed to the closing of the heart's valves, okay? Period. The first heart sound, the lub, is caused by AV valves. So you got to look up AV in this class, not look it up on Google. They won't know what the hell you're talking about. You got to watch this again to be reminded what AV stands for. It's got that long word. But I thought it stood for something else, too. I don't know, but I did say the word to you a bunch of times. So you have to just watch this class again and have a pen and paper and write down. The lub is caused by AV valves closing to prevent backflow from the ventricles into the atria. All right? The second heart sound is the dub. Occurs when the semilunar valves close to keep blood in the aorta from flowing back into the left ventricle. Ooh, we'd have big trouble if it floated back into the ventricle. Okay. There's just one page and 2 sentences on another page. That's it. So, here's a new title. Okay. So, a bloody important fluid. That's the title. A bloody important fluid. Blood is the fluid that sustains life in animals. And I've learned that we are animals and mammals. I didn't know that. I'm thinking of mammals are like lizards and beavers or something. I'm a mammal and an animal. Okay, blood is the fluid that sustains life in animals with a closed circulatory system. So we have open circulatory system and we have closed circulatory system. And if you've been with me for a long time, you've heard those. And I teach you a lot about the open and closed circulatory system. Yes, including, including, you just got to go back and watch my biology classes from biology class 1. Okay. Blood is the fluid that sustains life in animals with a closed circulatory system, including you. That was funny to me when I read that. Including you. Okay. Some blood cells carry oxygen, which is necessary for metabolic reactions. Some blood cells fight off invading substances that could destroy your cells, and other blood cells help form clots, which is bad, which keep your body from losing too much of this precious fluid and assist with wound healing, period. The following sections introduce you to the elements that make up your blood and the special process that keeps you from losing too much blood when you cut yourself. Amen. That's the end. That was a good class, wasn't it? It was exciting. Learning we're born with our own heart pacemakers. But like my uncle had to have a fake pacemaker put in, even when he wasn't like real old. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I told you I was going to tell you a life story. All right, I'll tell you a quick life story. Then we got to go to bed, YouTube a movie and go to bed. I got enough to buy me a nice hot cocoa. Okay. I love all you guys. Did you enjoy my class? Yeah, I hope so. Okay. So, this is my life story. I don't need to hold the paper. Okay. My life story, one of them, is, so I used to visit my girlfriend in Santa Monica, California. All right. I do have 2 videos talking about her, starting it, buried at the bottom when I first started this show. But nobody's hitting them. I don't know why. Well, my face looks crumpled, angry, and sad on both of them. I got to have one of my people here that know how to fix that. Yeah. So I visited her. She lived out in Santa Monica. First, she just had an apartment. And I visited her then in around 81, 82. Then I went back 10 years later and visited her around 91 or 92. It had to be the second time I visited her. Okay. Well, I've already told my fans that, I used to be physically addicted to alcohol, and I got cured off alcohol 12 years ago. I have no alcoholic disease in my body, brain, soul, spirit, or mind. I am cured off alcohol 12 years, and cured off cocaine 21 years. I have not had one relapse on cocaine in 21 years. I got cured off of cocaine in 2004. Yes, and never went back again. So I'm cured off the alcohol 12 years. So the reason why I'm telling you all this is because I was not physically addicted to alcohol the first time I visited my girlfriend Debbie, who lived, moved out to Santa Monica the last year. She went to 7th and 8th grade with me in high school, and I let her live with me and my parents for a while. But then after our freshman, sophomore, junior year in high school, her sister and her husband moved out to California, to Santa Monica. They were computer geeks, and they asked her to come on out and live with us, and you can spend your last year of high school in the famous Los Angeles high school. So that's what she did, and I went and visited her about 81ish. But I wasn't drinking. I was not physically addicted to alcohol, and I wasn't drinking like frequently heavy, like every day, or like a lot through through a week after week. No, Okay, so we don't got time to get into the details. I'm cured, 12 years off alcohol, and that's all we care about. But the reason I'm bringing it up is because when I'm telling this story, it had to be the second time I went to visit Debbie. Because the second time I went to visit Debbie, I was physically addicted to alcohol, and I was going to court reporting school then. Yeah, I even had my steno machine with me. I brought it on the plane with me, and I was practicing. Anyway, so I was really drunk because I was physically addicted to alcohol by then. And I was hanging out on the beach. And I would always go like in May, June, or July. And every time I go to that Santa Monica beach, we're talking May, June, and July, there was never anybody on the beach. I don't know, because when I come down the cliff to get to the beach, I take the bus from Debbie's condo. So her condo was at the corner of Santa Monica Boulevard and 20th Street, or 21st Street. I think it was 20th. Santa Monica Boulevard and 20th Street. By now she had gotten rich and bought a condo on Santa Monica Boulevard and 20th Street. And the stories that I want to tell about her, we can't do that in this show. They have to be a show by itself. I can't teach the two life stories about Debbie, my girlfriend, who got rich and bought a fancy condo. Those have to be told without a class. It has to be a video. The two stories I want to tell you about my girlfriend Debbie in Santa Monica. And I don't care if she sees this on my YouTube channel, if she finds it. I don't give a shit. She's a bitch, Melinda, this is a happy channel. I know. Okay, so we'll tell the two Debbie stories another time. But I'm going to tell when I was at Debbie's, staying at her condo, my story out on the beach. She wasn't with me. It was probably like a weekday. She wasn't working. She was living on her insurance because from working so hard with numbers and stuff, she had damage to her spinal cord in her neck and back. And so she was able to pay all her bills and live real high, on the high life on her insurance, because she bought, really top-notch insurance policy, premium. just in case, because she was making so much money. She was making more than her husband. Okay, we can't talk about her because I already taught a class. That has to be taught by itself. So this one quick story about me in Santa Monica. So because I was physically addicted to alcohol, I was physically more capable. When I'm drunk, I don't have any fear. So I could do a lot more things physically that, well, I could still do all the things sober, but by this time, I had, become physically and mentally disorientated, oriented, due to all the alcohol. But it worked. I could flip those uneven bars. So on Santa Monica Beach, they have the roller skaters, like I think it's a tarred trail, or a cement trail, okay? And all the roller skaters go roller skating down this cement or tarred trail. And right in front of, a part of the trail is uneven bars. But these uneven bars, when I was in high school, that's where I was taught in gym class, 2 stunts on the uneven bars. But I'm only 5'2.25", and I could easily reach the bottom bar and pull myself up and, be hanging by my knees and hanging onto the upper bar. So the first thing they taught me in gym class was the penny drop. But not all the other students could do it. No, they were scared. They didn't know how to do it. They weren't physically, talented. Like I'm a natural-born, physically abled person. I was taking tumbling and ballet. I loved ballet, and my parents took me out of it. I think because my sister wanted to quit, but it was my whole life. Now we're supposed to stay happy. So I did learn a lot in that ballet class, though, too. And I was like 5 years old, so the teacher, Miss Zaki, could bend my feet backwards. Yeah, and turn them into ballet ankles and feet, okay? And she would bend each foot back like that and hold it. Yeah, Miss Zaki. And I loved it. I wore a pink leotard with pink tutu and pink leotards and pink slippers. My sister wore her own costume. Anyway, I was always going down to the beach, getting drunk, and then I was into being suntan, even up at night. So this was like the second time I went around 91. I was still real into, I thought of myself as, you can't be attractive unless you're tan, if you have white skin like me. It was so fair-skinned. But today, I look back and I looked ugly and old and my face looked hard because I laid 8 hours a day in that sun, and plus I was living in tropical sun on Fort Myers Beach in Sanibel Island. I lived on an island and worked on an island, an Italian restaurant. That I helped this Italian family open this Italian restaurant on Sanibel Island. I was driving then, so I had my car and everything. And by this time, I was physically addicted to alcohol. Yeah. All right, so we're getting sidetracked. Let's finish up this story. On Santa Monica, so I had met this kind of homeless guy. He was about 6'4" tall. He was smart. He had rich parents in Texas that were sending him money. And I think he was also getting a Social Security check. I don't know where he was sleeping. I don't know if I just got friends with him on the beach one day, or if I would go every day when Debbie would go to work. I'd go to the beach. I don't know if he was there all the time, like, and I was, hanging out with him, just hanging out, not interested in dating a homeless person, and he wasn't my type or didn't have my chemistry. But he was a good-looking guy. To other women, they would think he was real good-looking. But he's basically living, yeah. So anyway, he went with me to the uneven bars, and those bars are not like the high school bars. Those bars are so tall. The bottom bar is so tall, there's no way I could ever reach it and get up on those uneven bars on my own. He was 6'4", literally, and I was 98 pounds soaking wet from being physically addicted to alcohol. Wasn't eating much, And so he was able just to swoop me right up on his shoulders, and I just grabbed onto that bottom bar. But it's pretty scary when you can't just easily, get down. You have to do these 2 stunts you were taught. So first, my gym class teacher taught me a penny drop. Well, that's simple for me. A lot of you, if you're not born a physical sports person, then you probably could never learn it. I was born with that physical ability to do a lot. I still want to do on those skateboards where you go to a park and it goes up and down. I'm still wanting to hop on one of those suckers. We used to sit on them and ride them down my neighbor's driveway, cement driveway. But they got real big ones now, and you stand on them, and I could do it. Well, I'd probably have to be drunk, but I could do it. Well, obviously, so we won't be doing that, yes. So, finish the story, Melinda. You're manic. Okay. So I had to get on his shoulders. I got up on the first bar hanging by my knees. Of course, grabbed on to the upper bar, which is way up high. Okay, now I do a penny drop, the first thing I was taught in gym class. And so you're hanging by your knees and hanging on the top. You let go of the top bar, you swing backwards, and then you flip forward. Bam! You land on your feet. And I did it. Yeah. And, all of a sudden, I look up. I didn't know it. I didn't see it. I didn't notice it. All of a sudden, I look up, and I look in front of me, and all the roller skaters you could see all the way to the left of you as far as you could see, and all the roller skaters as far as you could see that they could see me within reason. They had to be close enough to be able to see me good. But there was like from long to, good long stretch, all the roller skaters were just standing there watching me on the uneven bars. I couldn't believe it. So now I say, I'm going to do the harder stunt. I wasn't the least bit scared. I had learned it in high school, sober, yeah. But I wasn't afraid when I was that young like that in high school. But it's a hard stunt, and you could break your neck if you F that one up. So now I got the guy, the 6'4", skinny, tall guy, switched me up onto his shoulders and grabbed that bottom bar. And this time, I have to get, it's hard to explain. I had to get my torso up onto the set. So you got 2 bars, right? You got 2 bars, upper, lower. So I'm up here. And I have to get my torso up onto this higher bar. I'm trying to remember how I did it. I guess the way I would have done it is I would have had him, the guy, when I'm on his shoulders, I would have made it so I could pull myself up, and I think I was actually sitting on the lower bar at first, and then I had to pick up my right leg and put the foot on the bottom bar and pick up my left foot and put it down on the bottom bar, okay? Oh, here's my beautiful bracelet. See, don't lose my bracelet. You got to see my bracelet. Okay, and so I had my feet. Now I'm standing on the lower bar, and I can now grab. I'm facing the upper bar, and now I can grab onto the upper bar and pull my body up there. But you have to twist your torso around, so you're on your stomach. Okay, so on the upper bar. Now I'm on my stomach, and now I can weasel down and grab the lower bar, okay? So my legs are sticking straight up in the air. They're sticking straight up in the air on my stomach. I'm on my stomach with my legs sticking way up in the air because I'm on the top bar, and my torso, my stomach is the cushioning to be laying on that top bar without it hurting, And my legs are sticking up in the air like I'm upside down practically, and I'm hanging on to the bottom bars. And what I had to do was start going like a fish flop, when you catch a fish and they're flopping. That is, I'm recording, so you can't, no, but you're too close to me. I can't have you this close. I can't concentrate. I'm sorry. You're too close, honey. Okay, so, sorry about that. Okay, so my legs are up in the air, and I'm hanging on to the bottom bar. So what you got to do is start flipping your legs and your torso. Get it flipping like a fish. When you catch a fish, you have to bounce your legs, but it's hard because I think your legs are actually almost all the way off the bars, because you have to start flipping your legs, so you're like real low. You're on your stomach on the top bar, and probably like maybe the bar right here, so I could start flipping my legs like a fish when you catch a fish, and then you flip it. You get that flipping going and going, more velocity, more intense. And you flip yourself upside down, and you have to do a somersault and bam, land on your feet. And if you don't land on your feet, you could get paralyzed. That one, the people went crazy over. I couldn't believe it. I still knew how to do it from high school. Yes. So I was always into uneven bars, and I always wanted to take tumbling, and I did. I started taking tumbling with Nola Palmer's father owned his own tumbling company, whatever you want to call it. And I said, I was only a little girl, and I knew not Carol Scarpetti. It was Nola Palmer became, a professional uneven bar person and different tumbling, because her father owned it, and he kept her in it and started her. You got to start at 5. If you could start at 5 years old, just like ballet, you learn it so much better and easier and faster. And I went to tumbling for a while with Nola Palmer. Well, saw her there, and her dad was there. And then I dropped out, and I regret it so much. The ballet, I did not quit. My parents took me out, and I guess the only thing I could think is my sister wanted to quit. She had already went through puberty, and I was not anywhere near puberty, because I didn't get puberty till real late in life. I didn't get puberty in 7th or 8th grade. I got my 8th grade graduation picture, and I'm a little girl. I never went through puberty yet. And my girlfriend standing next to me, who became a multimillionaire from State Farm Insurance, because she started her own insurance company, well, State Farm. But she said, let me, give you $13,000 and give me time. and I'll get the customers, and she's in the President's Club. Okay, so anyway, that second stunt, those roller skaters went ballistic. They were really impressed, especially with the second stunt. Yeah, I wish I would have stayed with the tumbling and really went to town on those uneven bars. At the tumbling class, he had uneven bars, and the beam. I used to walk the beam in gym class. So yeah, okay. So that was a planned life story. I thought of it, and I said, hey, I'll bet that would really impress my fans, this story, so I'm going to tell it. So there, you got your first planned story, just like I said I was going to do in the beginning when I first started my show. And I said I would also be telling spontaneous stories, because I could be talking about something and spontaneously I'll start telling a story, think of a story. So we do have a spontaneous story already too. That was first, in the gray silver sweater with the collar with a bunch of pearls on the little collar. Go there and watch the end of that one. Okay, I'm going to let you guys go. It's getting really late. Okay, I love you all. And please subscribe. If you subscribe, I will smile. See? I will smile. Please subscribe, and you will see my beautiful white teeth. See? You will see they're my very own teeth. They're grown into my roots. Yeah, with the roots. And they're grown into my gums. So if you subscribe, I smile. See? Oh, and would you hit my like button? Okay. I love all my subscribers, all 1,014 subscribers. I love you all. I love all my viewers. I love all my students. I love all my fans. I love all my fans very, very much. And I appreciate your interest in my show, Miss Melinda's Spontaneous Smart Diva Show. Miss Melinda's going to go bye-bye. Miss Melinda's going to go to bed. Okay? So I hope you all enjoyed my class. We will see you next time. I will be filming again tomorrow because I'm trying to make 5 videos for you guys in 1 week. I realized I was not making enough videos for you guys. So this is my second one. I got 3 to go. And then I upload them all, and you guys are going to love it. Okay, good night.